haven't had time. It's the 18th of June 2020, haven't had time to get up properly. The cat is yelping. She was found lying underneath the window with a bent paw. We're going to take her to the vet. She might have fallen off the window. That's right, Remmie. So we just took Remmie to the vet, and doctors say, vets say, there's nothing we can do for her. In the morning, she'd been sick. This is her. The kitchen rolls down whenever she's sick. My brother found that she'd been sick as some of her food, and he thought nothing of it because sometimes when she eats food she's sick after, especially if she's been hunting. And then she walked out, he let her out, she walked down the garden, she was still walking apparently, and she walked right down to the bottom of the garden, was sick again, lay down there. Dad saw her laying down at the bottom of the garden, down there. And then I was woken up to her call. She was whining or yelling. Sometimes she makes this hunting meow whenever she's got a mouse. At first I thought it was that, but then what woke me up from bed was that it sounded more plaintive than that. It was longer. It was like when we take her to the vets and she goes, yow, yow. It was like that. And I came down here. I said, where's that coming from? Dad was in the kitchen, and he didn't know, and I thought she was caught up in the rafters or in the attic or high up. He said, I don't know where that sound's coming from. It sounds like it's coming from right here in the kitchen or dining room, but I can't see her. And then I came around outside the dining room and I saw her kind of crumpled in the corner, lying underneath our makeshift cat flap. She uses a window a little bit high to get out the house, which is down here, and this flower pot was lying on its side there, and she was lying there. And it was kind of shocking to see her just in that state, kind of just lying in the corner there going yow, and her back was covered in dirt and she was soggy. It wasn't raining as much as what I showed you just now. It was raining a tiny bit though, like drizzle, and she was in the corner. She was yelping consistently like she was in pain, and her paw was bent over like that, and I thought it must be her paw, like must be her front right leg I think, and she couldn't straighten it. Plant pot was there. I thought she landed on the plant pot and tripped up or something, like someone had put the plant pot there. Mum had bought some white orchids recently. She said she wouldn't put them in the garden because I told them they're poisonous to cats. I don't know where she put those in the end, but I thought maybe that was making her sick. She'd eaten something poisonous or eaten a bad mouse, and the sickness affected her jump down from the window and she fell. But then I heard about she was kind of lying down the garden in a similar position from Dad. He saw her out the window down the bottom there, and he couldn't tell if she was meowing back then, but she was lying in a similar way. And I heard Sam's stories about her being sick. He told me about all those, little sickies on the rug and down the garden, and yeah, I thought maybe what was affecting her before either made her fall from her jump and break her paw, or something else had happened. Anyway, I ran upstairs because she was still yelping. I got Sam, my brother, from his room and just told him there's something going on with the cat. And he ran downstairs and Dad called the vet and we tried to find... Sam found the cat box and borrowed my gloves to lift her carefully into the cat box. We thought it was this one paw, so we took her weight off the paw and lay her down and put a towel on her. And I have some footage in the car of her. That's right, Remmie. As we took her in the car to the vet, Sam didn't come. The vets didn't need me to wear a mask, but we rang the doorbell and waited outside because there's things going on. And she was still yelping in the box by my feet. There was like a tent tarp thing over us to protect us from the rain, and then a woman came out eventually and took our details and took the cat inside and told us to wait in the car. It was a kind of a wait. And she, or a different, I think it was a different vet, they were both wearing masks, so it was hard to tell between them. They looked similar, but I think a different one came out, and it was the vet. And she came out to the car with an umbrella and said that she didn't think there was anything to do for Remmie, and that actually all 4 of her legs were damaged, and that her back legs were in a worse state than her front legs, and that they had gone cold because they weren't getting any blood flow to them. So she said the back legs were in a worse way than the front legs. And then she said a lot of technical stuff. I think embolism was one of the words she said. She started talking about the blood flow around the body and saying that she might have had a swollen heart from the blood flow, and what she'd experienced was like a stroke kind of thing, but for a cat. It didn't seem to me like she suffered from any kind of stroke, but I don't know, maybe it was earlier, before she was found. Yeah, so all 4 of her legs had been wrecked and her back legs were in a worse state than her front legs. And she advised putting her down, and I said, "What is there any solution to this? Is there what else aside from putting her down? What else can you do?" And she didn't seem to give like any proper solution. She just said if we found a way to get her stabilised, then she would be comfortable for a short time or something, but then she'd probably have a blood clot and die from that, and she wouldn't have the use of her 4 legs. So yeah, I think that's most of what she said. And I said she's just been normal this past week. She seemed like she's normal. I mean, she doesn't explore around the garden as much as she used to, but you know, Remmie's always been like the runt of the litter, and she's always been kind of whiny and loud and a little bit weak and scared of things more than other cats. So we just thought she was acting normal. You know, cats sleep a third of their lives. We thought, oh yeah, she's a sleepy cat. We'll get her out for a walk when it's dry. She didn't like going out in the rain, which makes it weirder that Dad saw her lying in the rain this morning. Like, she wouldn't lie down outside in the rain. She likes dry places, so she must have had something wrong with her. She must have got stuck there, and whatever these blood difficulties were that we didn't even notice had like started becoming at their worst today, I guess. And yeah. So I told her, I told the vet to phone my mum and tell her, and then obviously I just got home and I've had to break the news to one of my brothers who's home, not working. And yeah, it's horrible. It feels like, I feel a bit like I signed her death warrant just putting her into the vet carry case this morning with my brother to take her to the vet. And that's pretty horrible. I thought she was going to be coming back today, and I thought she just hurt her paw, and apparently it's life-threatening injuries from nowhere. And yeah, I just thought, I was in such a panic to get ready. I didn't really get a chance to touch her, like I didn't stroke her. I moved her paws, her front paws, or her back legs, I think, for Sam when we were turning her to get her into the box so she wasn't putting weight on that bent paw. And that might have been the last time I touched her. I didn't get to stroke her, but through the little grills of the carry case cage thing I was putting my finger through as she was yelping, I patted her on the head. And it's so weird that, you know, it's like the vet's advice putting her down, and I just think, like, is that something we do to a human? And I kind of voiced that in the car to Dad, and he said, well, yeah, if you're in pain and stuff, a lot of people actually would want that. And it's like euthanasia clinics, people, I think there's some Scandinavian or something, Swiss euthanasia clinic where, you know, it's not normally allowed for you to be put down sort of as a human, but some people want that done because they don't want to be on a machine for the last days of their life or whatever. And yeah, I guess my mum's having a bad day at work now. She's probably been told by the vet. I don't know when they're going to put down my cat, but I know they're going to try and keep her comfortable. Probably give her painkillers before it happens, so she's put to sleep. But yeah, that's my third cat. A long time ago we had Cleo and Gypsy, two little cats. Cleo was our first cat. She was a black cat. We got her from Horbridge. She was half Israeli, I was told, which I thought was strange. She was like a half Middle Eastern cat, a half, so like a British cat met an Israeli cat. So there's a funny origin of Cleo, and we called her Cleo as in Cleopatra, and eventually she jumped on roofs a lot, so it was like Cleo, Queen of the Pyramids. She was a very scared cat when we first got her, but she wasn't a run to the litter like Remmie was. She was a lot stronger, so she got used to us. And we got Gypsy, and yeah, Cleo was a black cat. Gypsy was a black and white cat, younger. She just kind of popped up one day. Mum just brought home this cat, and I was like, I didn't ask you to bring back a cat. What are you doing? And she brought back a cat. So, and Cleo and Gypsy fought each other for a while. Cleo was not very happy that Gypsy had come into her home because they weren't brought in together early enough, I think, so they fought each other. And yeah, we had them for quite a long time, around the 90s, I guess, late 90s, up to around, I don't know where it was, like 1999 or 2000, and near the end of her life, Cleo got into some car accident, or a car drove over her tail or something, and we had to have her tail amputated. So the last few months of her life she had no tail, and she because of that she was like incontinent quite a lot. She was peeing quite a lot on the floor, so we had to put up with that for a while. She was peeing a lot, and I think that eased later on, and then I was told, like, it was the reverse of today. Like, my brother told me that Cleo had died out of nowhere, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, just disbelief and dumbfounded. I think I just walked out of the room. I was like, what? No, what? What do you mean, what? It took me a while for it to sink in. And that was sad. And she was buried out in the garden by my mum. And then I thought, well, at least I've got Gypsy. Even though I kind of loved Cleo a bit more, but I thought at least Gypsy is still here. And then within a week, Gypsy had died too. Like, and I don't know what caused Gypsy's death. I heard a bang in the night before the day she died. Like something being knocked over or a wood slamming on wood sound. And yeah, then the next day I was told Gypsy had died, and I just couldn't take it. I was like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. I guess I was late teenage years or mid teenage years or something. I just kind of went numb from it. Like, I don't know how. I think I'd act really bad if an actual human in my life died, because I've not actually really had that. I guess my nan died, but it was very second hand and far away from me. But yeah, I didn't really know my grandparents very well. Like, my granddad died as well. He looked kind of like Santa Claus, and my nan had a weird way of laughing. But I don't really didn't know that much about them. If it was someone in my immediate family or someone I loved who died, I think it would be more striking to me, and I would feel a lot worse. But yeah, my cat dying, I don't know if she's alive now, actually. They might not have put her down yet. I don't know. I'm still in disbelief stage right now. It's probably going to hit me worse later on. I'll probably post some pictures of her. I'm set back on my Instagram. I'm posting like late because of my PC being like having died and me getting a new PC here. So I'm posting stuff on Instagram like a month late sort of thing. So I'll be posting pictures of her for a while before we reach today. And yeah, it hasn't sunk in yet, but it's going to sink in soon. And I'll be very sad. That's about today, the day my cat will die, or has died. June the 18th, 2020.
Come here. Come here.
Come on, Remmie. Hi. Hi. What's my